Well, hello my lords and ladies, and welcome back to Westeros, guys. Alright guys, so in the last part, Lord Andros made a bit of a play for power for the Throne of the Vale. I tried to actually marry myself off, and I did successfully marry myself off to Lady Meredith Waynwood. Now originally, Lady Meredith was actually the heiress to the Throne of the Vale. She was actually Jon the Arryn's heir. However, her inheriting the throne depended on Jon not having any children with Lysa, and also Jon dying before he may potentially have any children with Lysa. And unfortunately, Lysa ended up having one son right before Jon usually dies. Jon Arryn usually dies between the ages of 63 and 65. I've seen him die pretty much right at the game's outset, but CK2 does have a bit of randomness to it, so unfortunately Jon Arryn is still alive and Lysa Arryn has given him his son, so I cannot actually make any kind of play for the succession of the Vale, at least right now. So what I'm going to be doing in these next couple parts then is that I'm going to be trying to increase the amount of family members I have by having more children with my wife, and then I'm going to be trying to secure some more powerful alliances and also try to grab at least one other High Lordship. The High Lordships that I'm very interested in taking are actually the High Lordship that the Waynwoods own, actually Meredith's own family. I'm very interested in taking over the Iron Oaks because it's a 3-province duchy, which is actually pretty nice. I'm also interested in taking over the Lord of Northweld's land, Lord Jon, who currently likes me because I gave him a decent amount of money. But those are the two territories I'm going to be keeping an eye on. There are a couple of independent territories up here, but I don't have enough stewardship to actually directly control these, so I may try to take these over and then kind of go in on Jon up here, but I'm most likely going to be focusing on Jon of Northweld's territory first, because if I just fabricate a claim on one of his titles and take it over, I'll have 50% of his High Lordship, which means that I can actually take over his lands, or at least I should be able to. So, alright, but let's get started off here. I'll put this on 3-speed. And right now I'm actually in command of some kind of army. The Iron Throne is actually in a war against the Sea Lord of Braavos right now. I believe I mentioned it last part, but yeah, they're currently still fighting over the High Lordship of Dragonstone that Viserys Targaryen owns currently. And actually Braavos is doing quite well against the Iron Throne so far. But that will pretty much change as soon as all the Lords Paramounts get their arms together. Because right now, the Iron Throne is fighting the Sea Lord of Braavos, but as soon as all of these men from, you know, the Riverlands, the Reach, the Stormlands, and all that get over here, the Braavos is going to lose because they only have 10,000 men. And you can already see, just from the Vale alone, we've raised 14,000 men to fight these guys. So, these guys are going to get the sword in a little bit. And what is this? Righteous imprisonment. Lord Paul of Moonsgrey. Why do I need to imprison him? He wants to buy Nestor of Strongsong's loyalty. Oh, it seems like Nestor might be presenting me with another opportunity to get rid of a vassal. However, I'm not going to get rid of him because Lord Paul of Moonsgrey is actually a pretty decent vassal, and I can forgive him from trying to buy someone's loyalty. What we're going to do is we're actually going to just tell him to end this plot. I don't see any reason to get rid of Lord Paul. The only reason I'd want to get rid of Lord Paul is because he's ambitious, but if his son isn't ambitious, then I'll just wait until his son becomes the new ruler, and then we'll just not worry about Lord Paul. I don't really have that big of a concern for ambitious characters in my realm, just because I hold a majority of the titles in my realm, and Lord Paul doesn't really have the power to usurp me. He also likes me enough to where he shouldn't be ambitious against me, or malicious against me anyway. Alright, so let's bump this up to 5-speed, since there's not really much going on for the time being. There always are a couple of slow moments in CK2. I do need to keep an eye on all of these different rulers, though, in the Vale, so I'm going to mark Jon Linderly and Anya Waynwood as special characters of interest. And then actually, once I hit, I believe, June? Yeah. So once I hit June 2nd of this year, I can actually change my focus to something else, and I'm tempted to change it to either Intrigue or Martial. Now the reason I want to change it to one of these two is because if I change it to Intrigue, I'll actually get the ability to spy on certain targets, which is very good, because that means that I can spy on targets and gain information that I wouldn't usually be able to use or I wouldn't be able to usually obtain. And then what I'd get to do is I can actually use that information to blackmail certain people into either supporting me in claims in the future, or also just tell my liege. So they punish them and perhaps maybe even reward me because I told him. So spying on would actually be really good. But if I do war, I also get the option to duel against rivals and foes, which also can be useful in itself. However, I'm probably not going to get war just because I still do not have a good fighter trait yet, as you guys know. So dueling is going to be a little hazardous for me, because the only trait that I have that makes my dueling skill a little bit better than most people is my Valerian Steel Sword. But besides that, I don't have any skills that actually make me a better one-on-one fighter. So I'm most likely not going to be dueling anytime soon. Alright, but it is past June 2nd, so we can change this. So I think I'm going to go for Intrigue. And this is going to give me +2 Intrigue, which will make all of my spy actions a little bit better, which is very good. And it's also going to give me the ability to spy on different people. Oh, I don't want to kill Lord Jasper. Not anymore. There's no point. But the person I'm going to spy on actually is I'm actually going to start spying on the different lords in the Vale. So I'm going to start spying on Lord Eon. Actually, no, it'd be pointless to spy on Lord Eon because he's going to die soon. So let's actually spy on Sir Guilwood. So keep an eye on Guilwood Hunter in the hopes of uncovering his darkest secrets. Might allow you to blackmail, level treason charges against him, or even murder him. So you guys can see the advantages to spying on people right in here. So getting the trait spying on actually really can give you a lot of assistance when you're a smaller lord like I am, and you're trying to get some dirt on people that'll help you force them to do your bidding later. I found out nothing new and useful about Guilwood Hunter, but as my shady informant pointed out, there was nothing preventing me from making stuff up. The bigger the lie? Aha! He has an imaginary friend named Bappo. So for 5 years, actually, Sir Guilwood of Eastwell will get a -10 general opinion with all of his vassals, and there's only a 1% chance that he'll hear that the plot was from me. That's good. So now everyone is going to not like him a little bit. Or at least his vassals, I believe. They won't like him as much. Just because of these vicious rumors. And this is going to last for 5 years. That's good. So, I keep getting put in command. I need this war for Brabus to end, because I don't want to keep putting... I don't want to be put in command over and over again. I do want to increase my martial skill, though, so I guess being put in command is the only way to do that. Lady Ravella informs me that Lady Paramount Lysa will soon perish. A pit of manure has been prepared under the floorboards of an abandoned inn, where she will soon be dining. A single spark will send our little problem kingdom come. Haha. Well, I wish you luck. We'll see if Lysa Tully dies from this plot. I'm not having much luck spying on Sir Guilwood. Perhaps I should focus my efforts elsewhere? No, I'm sure he's up to something. Let's wait a little while longer, and then see if we can find anything out. Yeah, sometimes the spy on trait will actually not, you won't actually get anything out of it. It just, because sometimes people are not actually plotting. So let's see. So Lysa Arryn has now died. Now, unfortunately, she didn't die soon enough because she still had one son. And some of you may be asking, like, why don't you just kill Jasper then? Get him out of the way and you inherit. The problem is that's actually not how it works. For some reason, once Jasper is born, if you kill Jasper, the succession, it actually shifts. So pretty much Lady Meredith is removed from it. I had to do some research on this because it was a little confusing. However, the way the succession in the Vale works, at least right now, is that if Jasper were to die, Harold will become the new ruler. And then if Harold dies, then this other Waynwood will become the new ruler. So if the Waynwood heir that will come after Harold inherits, then I might have a chance of inheriting it, but right now I really don't. So I'm probably gonna have to wait at least a generation for another opportunity to present itself, but that's okay. I'm a patient player. One of my informants, a young soldier with more vices than he can afford, has managed to gain the trust of Guilwood and now often stands guard outside his door. I don't understand how the fellow managed it, but who am I to look a gift horse in the mouth? For enough gold, he might be persuaded to rid Guilwood violently. Ooh. So if we kill Guilwood, there's still 2 other people after that. And Guilwood, he has no sons right now. See, the cool thing is that actually if we got rid of all 3 of these sons and all of their heirs, Jane's Hunter would inherit my previous wife, which means that Dazin, her and my son, would actually inherit the throne of Eastweld. So that actually might not be bad. So yeah, let's murder him. Why not? Let's see if we can get rid of him. My spy, Gilwood's burly armsman, managed to slay the filthy drunkard in his bed. Unfortunately, he was captured trying to escape. My complicity is known. Uh-oh. I hope I wasn't dishonorable. Okay, good. Alright, so luckily I didn't gain any kind of dishonorable trait. However, Eon of Eastweld does not like me as much. Oh no, that's actually... Did I get no negative modifier from that? So even though my complicity was known in that act, no one seems to have changed their opinion of me. That's so funny. Okay. Alright, well let's spy on the next lord, Sir Eustace of Eastweld. We're gonna keep an eye on him and then perhaps murder him in his sleep if I can. Oh, and it looks like the Iron Throne's war has ended. Yes, the war between great powers of the realm has subsided for now. Until next time. Even though the great wars of this realm do not really concern me that much. If things in the Vale actually don't go very well, though, one thing I can always do is I can actually keep my eye open for other succession advantages, like, for instance, in the Riverlands and things like that. Like, if my daughter lived to reach maturity, I could actually... Ooh. Luton has a strong claim on the Riverlands? What if I got a matrilineal marriage to one of these children? Could I arrange a betrothal? So he wouldn't accept a betrothal because Lord Luton is too high in the succession. What about Rickon, though? Or Rickard? Too high in the line of succession. Okay. Andara Guile is age 1. Now, if I got a betrothal with Lord Rickard of the North, this would secure an alliance for me with House Stark, which could be very useful in the days to come. I also would be married off to Rickard, which could be extremely opportunistic. Now, unfortunately, I can't matrilineally marry him and then possibly make a grab for the throne because he's too high in the succession, but I can gain an alliance nonetheless. So yeah, let's do that. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna betroth my daughter to young Rickard of the North for the time being. Not John, but Eddard Stark's 4th son. To the resolute Lord Andros, may live in harmony and contentment. I've decided to accept your suggestion of a betrothal between Andara and Lord Rickard. Fantastic. And what is this? I found nothing new and useful about Eustace Hunter. Okay, but I can make up a lie. He also has a imaginary friend named Bappo as well. It seems like it runs in the family. Eon, do all of your sons have imaginary friends named Bappo? There's no point in spying on Gilwood anymore. Yeah, I know. I'm not spying on Gilwood. The game is silly. It thinks I'm still spying on Gilwood. So it seems like I may end up having only 2 children this game. That's unfortunate. In 2 years, actually, Dazin is going to be ready to be educated, so I'm going to have to save up some money. Oh! My liege, my work in Snakestone seems to have come to fruition. By bribing, cajoling, extorting, and threatening and forging documents, I've managed to fabricate a claim on the lordship of Newkeep, presently held by the Lord Penthar of Newkeep. Aha! Alright, so I'm going to lose some prestige and some gold, and I'm going to fabricate a claim on Newkeep. And then I'm actually going to declare war on Lord John of Northweld. He has no alliances, and let's see how many men he has. Okay, so Eon, Anya, where are you, John? John has 3,000 men. Well, I've got him beat. I've got almost 5,000. Okay, let's declare war. So we're going to take this territory over, and then I'll distribute it to a vassal of mine. And let's see how we can do this. Alright, so let's declare war. Now, there is a chance that Lord John may try to actually stop my war and order me to cease and desist. And if he does that, I'm unfortunately going to have to comply with his request. And the main reason for that is that if I deny a request of John's to put down my arms, then what will happen is that John will declare war against me and declare me a traitor to the realm, which is not good at all. So we don't want to have to deal with that. But it doesn't necessarily mean I lose the claim, which is good, so I can press it another time in the future. Oh, Maester Gerald is no longer my maester. Did he die? Oh, it didn't actually even notify me. Alright, so once a maester actually leaves your court, you actually have to go to the plot and intrigue screen, and you have to send for a new maester. It costs you a little bit of gold, but once you send for one, a new maester will appear a little while later and take over the maester slot in your council. Okay, good. The maester we sent for from the Citadel is good. Learning skill of 10. Oh, no. Ah, you jerk. Lord Andros, I hereby command you to lay down your arms and end your wars of aggression. You dick, John. Alright, I'll have to bide my time for the time being then. I still have my claim, so even though I lost the prestige, once John dies and his son takes the throne, I should have an opportunity to take over Lord John's lands. I'll just need to try to curry favor with Lord John in the future. So, alright, so in command is no longer affecting us. Let's wait for the time being. Alright, so since I can't really declare war without Lord John getting mad at me, I guess we'll just have to wait for the time being. So I'll keep this at 5 speed. And let's see, there's no really laws that I really want to change right now. Changing my feudal levies to large feudal levies would not really be useful because I only have one feudal vassal, and that's Lord Paul of Moonsgrace, so. But let's see, currently all of my vassals like me enough. I'm actually going to make Master Serwin my cupbearer to increase his opinion of me a little bit, so I can have a little bit more of a buffer. So, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on the state of the other kingdoms, though, just because it might actually be worth my time to watch for any potential grabs for power that I could make in any of the other 7 kingdoms. Because right now I'm really focusing just on the Vale primarily, but it probably would be in my best interest to actually keep an eye on Robert's throne and things like that. That's actually, so Robert is age 27, Cersei is 24. If I were to marry my son to Princess Dala... Oh, I'm too lowly ranked for regular marriage. That's right, he is technically an emperor. He is listed as a king, but the Kingdom of the Iron Throne is technically an emperor title, so I guess he's not really going to be too fond of me trying to do that. I wonder if any of the other kingdoms have potential claims that I could use, though. No, not really. Alright, because I gotta find a potential suitor for my son in the future. I could marry my son off to Linderley's daughter. However, marrying my son off to Linderley's daughter is not really going to be that big of a benefit for me, because I only potentially gain 2 territories. I don't need to marry him off to anyone here, at least for the time being. Lord Eustace is actually the new Lord of Eastwald now. Hopefully I can spy on him pretty soon. We've been spying on him for quite a while, and yet I haven't actually gained anything from it. So, what if I married my son off to Lyessa Waynwood? Maybe if I secured a betrothal between her and my son, that would give me a decent alliance. Because that would give me an alliance with the Waynwoods, which would mean I would get an alliance with them, and then perhaps if I held these 2 territories, and then if things went in my favor and I gained this, I would have these territories and the Waynwoods backing me. That would definitely be enough to take over the throne of the Eyrie, especially since Lord John has no external allies anymore. Okay, so she's accepted a betrothal between Dazin for right now. Let's see, my eyes and ears have discovered the bizarre and repulsive truth about Lord Eustace Eastwald's sexual preferences. Oh no. I can form his liege or threaten him with exposure unless he joins my faction or my factions in the future. I think it would be best to inform my liege about this. Lord John II of the Vale was grateful and upset about the evidence I provided against Lord Eustace of Eastweld, and will use it to blackmail him out of factionalism. Good. And that will make me actually appear more favorable in John's eyes. Yep, I get a +10 bonus with him because he's satisfied with me. Okay, so it is now time for me to choose how I want to educate my son, Andara Guile. So basically, what this is going to do is that you get the choice to determine what type of education your child will get, which is actually really good, especially since the CK2 education system is a little random. But you can say they'll be educated at court, which will make your son specialize in diplomatic matters. You can say you want him to be good with numbers, which will make him a good steward, or you can groom him for command. Or you can say, I don't have time for you. Now, my first son is going to be groomed for command, which is going to bankrupt me a little bit, but that's okay. It'll go away in like a month. And now that my son is groomed for command, we have a couple of options. So giving him a martial education gives him an extra bonus in martial. Now, when you're choosing your education for your son and your son's tutor, the things you want to look at are the tutor's overall traits, also the tutor's learning, and the the tutor's traits that or stats that they have. Because if you want, for instance, Dazzin, I want to specialize in martial abilities, so I want to make sure I get a tutor with good martial stuff. Also, learning is increasingly important in the Game of Thrones mod because the skill of the educational trait that Dazzin will gain after his education is done is based upon his learning. So when Dazzin is full of what am I even trying to say? When Dazzin reaches maturity, what will happen is that the level of his educational trait that determines whether or not he gets, like, brilliant commander, excellent commander, poor commander, things like that, is determined pretty much solely by his learning. So you want to make sure that your heir, or the person that you're tutoring at the time, has at least somewhat of a good learning ability. Otherwise, they may end up not being the commander you want them to be. So that presents a bit of a predicament for me, because right now, Dazzin actually does not have he doesn't have a very good learning skill. He's actually a challenged child. He gets -4 learning. So we may have to figure out what we're going to do with him, because he's most likely not going to get a good martial education trait unless I seriously train up his learning quickly. Since my child is actually starting to train, though, I am going to change my Master at Arms focus to training my child, which gives me the chance of improving my child's martial capabilities. Oh, John Arryn imprisoned John Linderley. Oh, that's good. If John dies, then I might actually have an opportunity to kill, or to take John's throne. Oh, King Robert exiled Viserys. Alright. So, but yeah, so once Dazzin hits age 6, I'm going to have to think about who I want to educate him. Now, I may just make it so I'm going to educate him, because I think it's really good just to always educate your heir yourself, because you get to choose the traits he's going to get, instead of actually leaving it up to the AI, because the AI can be very random at times. Ooh. Lord Paramount Balin II of the Iron Islands has declared war. He has declared a war of independence. Oh my. Oh my. So Balin Greyjoy has actually declared a war of independence. He's most likely going to lose, because he's up against the Iron Throne, the Stormlands, the North, the Riverlands, the Vale, and the Westerlands. So yeah, he's most likely going to lose. However, this should be kind of fun to watch. Well, it would be fun to watch if I could actually see what was going on. Oh, no, here we go. Let's see what's going to go on here. So the Iron Islands are moving their ships around, and it looks like they're going to land their troops. Now the question is, where are they going to land their men? I can't see any of their men just yet. The Riverlands are actually moving some soldiers over right now, They have a small fleet of about 1,900 men that it looks like they're going to drop them off here. And the Westerlands are dropping off a small fleet as well. Now, the Iron Islands obviously have a lot more ships than we do, so they will have the ability to actually move around a lot more quickly and deal damage that way to us. But I'm not actually sure where the Iron Islands are going to go. They have their fleets right here. It looks like they're going all the way around. Are they going to go straight for the Iron Throne? It looks like they might. Let's watch these guys. Where are they going to go? They are. Oh, wow. So yeah, the Iron Islands are just going to plop their own men right in the center of King's Landing. Wow. And that was a really bad move. They plopped them right in King's Landing and are attacking via an amphibious landing, which is a horrible penalty to get. Oh, wow, but they had enough men. Oh my gosh, they won. So the Iron Islands actually just beat that army. Wow. So the Iron Throne actually just lost its first battle against the Iron Islands. I'm very surprised. I thought the Iron Islands would lose quite quickly. However, the what is it? The other kingdoms have yet to actually throw their men into the battle here. So once all the other 7 kingdoms actually start throwing their troops into the battle here, most likely the Iron Islands will lose. All right, so it looks like Dazan is now ready to be educated. So let's go educate him. I want to take a look at all of my potential vassals who can educate Dazan Guile. So I could make John Aaron educate him a little bit, which actually wouldn't be that bad. He's a poor fighter, so I wouldn't really get a good martial education off of him, but he's got good traits nonetheless. And also I gained opinion bonus because I'd be asking John to tutor my own son. But I think I'm going to have myself tutor him. I just want to take a quick look at my vassals and make sure there's no other vassals that might be better tutors than my own character. Because I've never actually really paid attention to the learning trait too much, and I completely forgot that it actually has a big effect on the level of the child's educational trait. So, because I don't want my child to be like an incompetent commander or like a misguided warrior or something like that. I want him to be a good leader. So, I guess, because we don't really have, the only person with high learning is really Selena, but she has crappy traits across the board for everything else. So I guess, yeah, I will tutor him, and I'll just have to hope that Dazan actually gets the decent traits. I am probably going to force Dazan to train once or twice, which will make it so he'll have the chance to actually improve his fighting abilities at the risk of hurting himself. Once Dazan actually reaches age 8, I'll have the ability to force him to train, but I have to wait until then. Because I don't want him to be a poor fighter like me. I want him to be a decent commander and a good fighter as well, which is a lot to ask of him, but I think he can do it. So, alright. But I think on that note, guys, we're going to end this part today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part to Let's Play Crusader Kings 2, the Guile Chronicles. I'll see you all again later.